Now, at the same time, the infrastructure that we're building, this computing system, is giving a lot of power to a few groups. We've talked a lot about corporate surveillance and so on in the last 10 years. But what I'm particularly worried about is state surveillance. There's already mass surveillance going on at the same time. However, we have not yet seen what's possible. Orwell famously described this tremendously dark world in 1984, but I think that was child's play. The kind of 1984 vision of the future does not at all factor in the kind of control systems that you can put in place today. Not in the future, not in 10, 20 years, today, using today's technology. Already we're seeing these kinds of systems being played around with across the world. This is not just in a far-off place, it's probably in your country. And if they work really well, and they'll start spreading and exporting to other nations. And this is a very, very pernicious system that over time will ratchet up into something potentially really bad. And the concern is one of these. It's at every point in time, the people that are building these things are trying to do a really good thing. They're trying to help secure systems, and they're trying to help secure society. Because they know the damage and the dangers that come when safety is not carefully considered. However, never about the current administration. It's always about who's going to inherit in the future that set of powerful capabilities. Don't build extremely powerful technology that you wouldn't want the worst groups on the planet taking control over. So it's extremely critical that we build the structures to prevent this kind of mass social control in the future. Now, this is where Web3 comes in. Web3 brings verifiability to interactions across the internet. It makes sure that we embed cryptographic requirements in most interactions across the network. And I'm not talking about kind of like the ownership thing. Like that's been, I think that's a kind of passing moment thing about Web3, because property rights are pretty interesting and pretty cool to have on the network. However, what's much more important, much more deep, is to bring verifiability, to make these systems trustable for everybody, because you have hard mathematical and cryptographic and economic guarantees about their operation. You don't have to trust that some contract is going to be respected. You need a communications infrastructure that respects you, a communications infrastructure that puts the data in your control, and that isn't going to just take everything you've ever said and later on in 10, 20 years in the future, punish you for it because of some massive shift in what has become acceptable.